I think what you're trying to do is make me look as ugly as possible so
Yep.
you can get more women to like you.
Welcome back to the Felt with the Jay and Ciara, who did not put her lips on poker vlog. Nailed it.
Yes.
Today, interesting deviation from what we normally do.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll go. You remember Bart, right, from Crush Live Poker? I think we've talked about him before. He has a caller call in. He plays a hand, but then an interesting rules/ethical dilemma comes up at the end. So I'm going to run you through the hand because it's an interesting spot in the hand. So I'd like to see what you do in the hand. But then I'd also like your take on what you would do in this situation.
Okay.
Because in normal situation like this, you would just be like, hey, floor, and the floor would work it out and make your ruling. But in this particular game, this is a private game hosted by a casino, but a private game, meaning players make up their own rules. So it's up to the players to do the right thing or do whatever, as long as within the realm of rules. But so we'll run through that. And see what you do. Here we go. All right, welcome back to the Crush Live Stream Poker. Crush Live Poker Stream, I should say.
I thought you were talking about us.
No, not us.
No.
This is our friend Bart.
Okay.
We know he has a call-in show. So here we go with the guy calling in. Now, some context is very relevant to this hand. You remember we've been at the Wynn a couple times, and there'll be a table in the back behind the glass there of a private game going on. So those games are hosted by. I could host a game if I wanted to. I just work with the casino, pay whatever I got to pay for the dealers to deal and stuff like that for me. But it's a private game, meaning I can make up my own rules. I can have the blinds be $1, $500, or I can, have no straddles, or I can have mandatory every. I get to make up my own rules, right? But it's a private game, meaning it's not open to the public. I have to approve people to be there, right? So in this case, it's a private game. So it means there's gray area on the rules. And so this individual that's calling in here that you see with the ace 10 offsuit, he is a 63-year-old man, just happened to be in Vegas for this time. And he noticed that table in the back. So he asked the floor, like, hey, what's that going on over there? Floor said, hey, well, that's a private game. You have to go talk to that guy over there. And if they allow you to play, they allow you to play. So he did, and sure enough, the guys allowed him to play. Cool. So he's in this game, and as you can tell, it's a lot of money on the table. He's playing with $15,000 here, so big game here. So we're not talking about a couple $100. So pretty soon into the session, we find this hand right here, ace 10 offsuit. Now we are in the cutoff.
Okay, great position.
In as you can see, the blinds here, 25, 25, 50. So small blind, big blind, straddle, 50. So it comes to us with ace 10 offsuit, late position. What are you thinking?
Raise it up.
Okay. So a lot of money already in the pot, $100 already in the pot. So what are we raising to?
I did 200. Or
I think so too. Yeah. He goes 150. I feel like it's a small raise considering the small blind, big blind straddle format here. It's going to call in the small blind, big blind, and straddle a lot if I only make it 150 with a lot of random hands. So I think I go your size 200 to 250 here just to not incentivize those people to play. But he makes it 150, which I think is standard. And we'll just roll. I cut this up pretty quickly over here. So it's going to go small blind's going to call, big blind's going to call. And actually, the straddle of 50 is going to fold, which is a weird thing, right? So here we go. We're going three ways to the flop. Good flop for us, right? Ace high flop. it's going to check to us. So small blind, big blind check. Now it's on us. What are you thinking?
Continue on.
Continue on. Sure. That's obviously a great flop for our real hand and our perceived hand. So what are you thinking? Pot is what? 500-ish now? What do you think?
It says 800 on the screen.
That's because we see he bet 300. So.
But
prior to him betting 300.
But I was going to, even though seeing that 800, I was going to say 300.
Oh, okay. So you're right in line with this guy here. So I think that's fair because we're pretty at the top of our range here. We're targeting specifically like ace X at like a low ace at this point, maybe a 5 or 2 that they have. They could have like 4-5 or 2-3 or something like that. It may call. So better bet on a little bit bigger side because all those, even if you bet $100, all those Queen 10 offsuit hands are going to fold anyway, so it doesn't matter. So might as well target those hands that have some value and you know you're crushing. So I think 300 to 500 is a good size bet there, right? Pretty simple stuff so far, I would say. So in that case, as you can see, the hero does bet 300. He's actually going to get called by one player who's in the small blind here. Okay. So that's going to bring the pot up to 1,100. All right. So now that comes to the turn. And we hit a great card for us for top 2 pair. All right, so the pot is 1,100. Check, small blind continues to check to us.
Yep, because he's out of position.
He's out of position, continues to check to us. What do we bet now? Now that our hand has improved, right? So even if he did have ace 5, something like that, now we're winning.
So I don't know, because I usually bet big. My MO is to bet big because I don't want them to catch anything on the river, and I just want to take down the pot at that time. But if I have so much of the board here, there's no possibility for a flush or anything. You want to keep that opponent in. So you bet kind of small here. I would do $300 to $500.
Another small bet.
Yes.
Okay. And you're targeting him with having ace 6 or something here. Just a weak ace. You're just keeping him around, milking him.
Or even a good pocket pair,
Okay. Yeah, maybe, pocket 7s calls another small bet. And you could be 100% right. And I think the hero here semi-agrees with you. He bet 600 here. I think the argument Bart makes, and it made a lot of sense to me, is if your hands like that are like low pocket pairs or hands that really have much value are going to fold no matter what you bet. I mean, maybe to such a small bet they stick around. But if you bet your $300, all those hands are going to fold anyway. So why not bet bigger, hoping he's got that ace X hand, and you're going to extract value.
So my MO was correct. Like what I would usually do.
I mean, player dependent. Yeah. Your big bet strategy, I think, was
sometimes
more
you're
correct.
Like, hey.
All right. So now hero bets kind of right in the middle of both of those bets, 600. He does get the small blind to call once again. So what kind of range are you putting the small blind on here with check, call, check, call? What are you thinking?
I mean, he's got something. He's either got a straight draw or he has an ace X hand, ace jack.
So like 4-5, 4-2, 2-3, pair straight draw, or ace X hand. So we beat all those hands. That's good. So
worst case scenario is pocket 5s or deuces.
Okay, yeah. So those are the hands that beat you.
Those are the hands that beat us. Yes.
And the board's pretty dry, so maybe it makes sense he's laying in the weeds with one of those hands. Because now we're going to get put to the test. 8 of clubs comes in the river, doesn't really complete anything. First, so it's check to us again. What do you bet here? The pot's about $2,200. Okay. What are you going to bet?
I make a big bet here.
Okay, $2,200. How much do you bet into a $2,200 pot?
I make a pot size bet.
Okay, big bet, right? And we're still targeting that ace
Mm-hmm.
rag hand, or even ace jack at this point, right?
Is he
If
gonna
he's
raise?
that good.
Because that's something I would do.
So I think that's a great bet, and
Okay.
I would do that too. I
Okay.
would bet big. But here's the problem. This is the conundrum we put in.
Okay.
So Hero bets $2,700 in a $2,200 pot. So
Okay.
huge bet, huge over bet. So we're representing strength, right? We're representing a big hand. Now our villain goes over the top of us all in for $12,000. Now, this is why it's a conundrum, right? Because we've been representing nothing but strength this whole time. So what does the villain have
This is something I would do
to
with
go
a very
over the
strong-
top? I mean, 5x
Mm.
all in. One, do you call? Two, what range you putting him on?
I'm thinking like the villain. It's a sneaky. I like to be sneaky. But wow, this is tough because the only immediately what I think is he either has ace king, like he's representing I have a bigger kicker than you, okay, or I have a straight or set. Those are the three things that I have to now kind of put him on.
Mm-hmm.
So if I narrow it down, I'm like, all right, that's such a 50-50 call for me. And it would be hard for me to make the call. That's kind of like a coin toss thing.
Because you are telling him, I've got a monster hand.
Yeah.
And then for him to go over the top, that's never a bluff,
Yeah.
right? Over the top 5x.
Yeah.
I've said nothing but strength this whole time. What makes him think that I would fold, right? Why would he be bluffing? So I think you're right. You got to put him on a big hand. But the question comes in, does his big hand beat my big hand, or does my hand beat his hand, right? Because he's doing this with value. So he obviously thinks he has the best hand. But he could have ace 5, ace deuce, ace 8. We beat all those. We obviously lose to straights and sets. So,
yep.
What are we calling? It's our whole stack.
I would call.
Man, it'd be tough. It would be tough on the spot making this call. I don't know what I would do.
It's weird because I would fold if he did it earlier. If he raised me, right? If he raised me at any street. But at the end, it almost seems like a bluff.
Oh, he's never bluffing here. He thinks he's got a good. I mean, what's he bluffing with? We bet pot over pot. Like he knows we're strong. So it'd be a weird bluff. Man, just a huge raise like that. I don't know what I would do. I want to say I would call, but in the moment I might fold.
You
that.
might fold.
I might fold that,
yeah.
thinking he's been laying in the weeds with a set of deuces or fives the whole time. Because it would make sense to me, right?
I know
because
you,
the board
and
is
you
so
would call.
dry.
You would call.
Maybe I might talk myself into it just out of curiosity. So what happens in this hand, and we'll get to our ethical dilemma here after this, is our hero does end up making the call. Okay. And the villain reveals ace 8.
Nice.
Right?
Okay.
So we win. So the problem comes into when hero is counting his chips that the villain has to pay him is all in. The hero out in front of his stack, he had a white chip underneath 2 yellow chips. So that's a $5,000 white chip underneath 2 $1,000 yellow chips.
And it's supposed to be
on top.
It's
supposed to be on top.
Okay.
So as the casino is counting the hero's chips to get paid, the villain says, I never saw that white chip. So how do you handle this situation? So the casino awards the guy all the money, right? Pays him the whole $12,000. The guy says, hey, I never saw that white chip under there. And the guy admits he had it on the bottom, right?
In his stack the whole time. Or just
It was in front. He had 3 chips in front of his stack on the felt. a white chip on the bottom and 2 yellow chips on the front, on top of that. So it's in front. It's not like hidden behind or anything like that. But he just did have it on the bottom.
Okay.
He's in the 9 seat. Villain's in the 3 seat. So he does have a view of the chips. Villain never asked how much you got, anything like that. He just shoves all in, and he gets called. So what do you do here?
Okay.
The rules say that you've done nothing wrong. The chips are visible. Now, if you hid that chip behind, you would be in the wrong. But because it's out front, yes, it was underneath the stack, but it was visible, right? So little gray area, but they rule you're in the right. They would rule you were in the right, and you were awarded all the money. So now in a typical situation, they would call the floor over, and the floor would make a ruling, and then that would be it. But this is a private game, so players kind of get to make their own rules. So taking all that information into account, the guy that organized the game and allowed you to sit down tells the guy, hey man, do you want some advice? Like, he didn't know you had that money, maybe pay him back some, right? So he tells you that, and you're a 63-year-old guy just sat down in Vegas. What do you do in this situation?
No, like, obviously I'm an amateur player, right? But if it's remained visible the whole time to the entire table, I think that the ruling should favor this guy here and say, no, it's been there the whole time. I know it wasn't in the correct position, but a lot of people don't know how to position. Like, they know to keep the big chips out front. So I would rule in favor of the... Because
but if you're the guy, would you give any money back?
No, absolutely not, because there was no ill intent of hiding anything from the other player. There was no ill will, no malicious intent. It just happened to be at the bottom. And if he was just mad. Like, so if the villain should have said, hey, how much do you have? That's what he should have said. Like, how many chips do you have? How much you got?
Okay, here's my take.
That's my take.
I think you're not wrong. You're not in the wrong. Taking your approach. Now, if this is the only game in Vegas you're ever going to play, you will never see these people again. It doesn't matter to you, whatever. Take the money and run, because it doesn't matter. But if you want to build a relationship with these people and come back for future games and stuff, maybe you concede a little bit. Okay, yeah, here's $1,000 or a couple $1,000, right?
Okay.
If you want to build a relationship, right? But you're still not wrong. Now, this is my only problem. So I'll tell you what the hero did. After a while, after a hand or two, the hero did give back, because he thought, okay, if he realized he did not see my chip. So he's like, okay, on the river, how much would he have raised me if he knew I had all this money? And he was like, all right, here's $2,000 that I think you would have raised me. So he gave him his $2,000 back. And then the table was all happy with that, right? This is my problem with that. So what if the villain in this hand had a set of 5s and beat me? He still didn't see my white chip.
Yeah.
I have to award him my entire stack still. He's not going to say like, oh, I didn't see that white chip, keep that $5,000. Yeah. I'm going to have to pay him my entire stack.
Right.
So I keep the money too. Now, if I want to get in good with these guys and I think it's going to be a beneficial relationship for me, then I may appease the table and give some back. But just on the fact alone that I would be expected to hand over my entire stack if I would have lost that hand, they're not going to give me a rebate.
Right.
I don't think I should give them a rebate.
No.
Because to your point, that chip's been on the table the whole time. You got to be aware of what's going on at the table the whole time, especially when you're about to make an all-in decision. You take an extra look, or you ask like, hey, do you got anything behind there?
Yeah.
Maybe I can't see from my angle or something. You take the extra second and do that. So the villain failed to do that. And
and I think that's, you've taught me that. You've taught me that several times. Like, make sure they have what you think they have, and I've learned that
Yep.
in the beginning
Well,
because
because trial and error, I made
I've
mistakes.
made mistakes.
You know,
So
there's a black chip you don't see,
yeah.
or something like that, or it's just at the angle you're looking at his stack. It's not hidden, you just don't see it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you. I probably would not have given anything back.
And these guys are playing like a lot of money, so
Yeah.
I mean, they may be amateur, but they've played some poker to be in this kind of stakes. So that's kind of rude of the other guy to say that. He knows better.
Well, no, I think from his perspective, he organized the game. He wants to keep everybody happy
No,
in the game.
Villain, not the organizer.
Oh, okay. But I think the organizer knew that the villain in this hand was a contributor to the game, meaning he probably is a whale, comes there all the time. You want to keep that guy happy, and if he feels he was slighted, he'll probably that's why they were kind of like pressuring you.
And you guys say
it's
girls
his job
are dramatic.
His job. He wants to keep this game going, right?
Yeah.
He's probably a pro in the game, makes a lot of money from this game. He's got to keep everybody happy because you'll give him 2,000 now, he's going to get that shit a ton. So that's why he's trying to do that. But from my perspective, I would have been expected to give him my entire stack if I lost. Sorry, no rebates. Like I get it. It was hidden, but it was still in front. I've had it the whole time. I've been playing with it, whatever. So yeah, weird dilemma there that we had to kind of go through, and especially for a new guy in a new game, it'd be a weird situation all around, especially with the $30,000 pot. So yeah, but interesting hand also raised on the river. Tough call, or I might have folded, might have called. I don't know. But yeah, so cool hand. Thanks to Bart and Crush Live Poker there.
What was Bart's his analysis
on the river bet there?
No, not on the river bet, but the ethical.
The ethical. He said the right thing was to do was to give him a couple $1,000 back. The right thing to do, especially if you're a player that's trying to get in these games, these private games, because that's where a lot of the money is in Vegas poker right now, is the private kind of games right there. So he said the right thing to do is to give him the couple $1,000 back. So yeah, that's, I guess
we'll be in that game here soon.
All right, till next time.
Okay,
we'll see ya.
Bye.